All right, we got a
CEO is among us.
yeah, he sure is. Succubus, the final pick there for Rexar. So that's right away something interesting to talk about with their lineup overall too.
And this is what we were going back as well. I mean, we've mentioned it before, but the sort of secondary support that offers a little bit more than just the laning phase. And obviously, Succubus, I love this hero. It's very, very strong, perfect at locking down, say, like the strong enemy carry. And talking of strong enemy carries, Moon Queen, the perfect carry to sort of lock down in that Succubus hold.
Yeah, that doesn't get much better than that, of course. So Imba Boy going to get his hands on the Moon Queen here, sure enough. I really feel like this whole idea that the jungle meta has really been kind of phasing out was just all like a smokescreen or something, because it seems like it's kind of back to an extent. Tempest, yet again, picked up. Tempest especially. I mean, he's, out of all the jungle heroes, he's the one that seems like he's being picked up the most, and he would have been, we may have thought like Ophelia and Parasite especially, if anything, are going to be the active ones. Parasite was banned, to be fair, but still worth noting there. But yeah, so jumping into this game, they get the Moon Queen to finish it, but overall, very strong team lineup that comes together as far as synergy goes. I am excited though to see the Succubus, not only because it's again a different hero that we don't see, but she is going to be played as a secondary support.
Or no, no. Mid, actually.
Oh yeah,
Surprised.
Okay. They are doing the Cthulhu jungle? No.
Yeah, they all do Cthulhu jungle unless they want to run some kind of funky.
He's at a top right now, so that's why I was second guessing there for a second. He might just go aggressive jungle, I guess, against the Tempest.
Yeah, he might.
Huh. Well, we saw it work last game, obviously, in our previous series, so by all means, that's not too much out of the question, but Succubus is going to go, and I love that, though. I was going to say, I mean, secondary support, I mean, still good, she has a skill, but I love because she's arguably one of the strongest 1v1 laners in the game. I think there's no discussion in that. But on top of getting those levels, as you put it, the Succubus hold especially, very important to get as soon as possible to set up those easy kills. So
checks Conga as well.
Yeah, just in case. Just in case.
Yeah, and looks like she's actually going to be faced up against a dual mid against Rhapsody Moon Queen. Actually, quite interesting. Quite interesting because I think they're assuming the tri-lane to come at top. That's why they sent the bubbles up there, and then as a result, try and secure the farm on Moon Queen in the middle lane. But not exactly what reason or we're expecting. Obviously, it's looking like a tri-lane. Actually, it's going to be a tri-lane then. So yeah, so Empath is going to rotate up here, and then obviously Cthulhu is just going to be in the enemy woods, and Tempest already rotated. So as it stands, reason actually the way they've laned it is quite well actually. Because it's going to benefit them in almost every single lane.
Yeah, so again, making the point, it's one of the strongest 1v1ers in the game. 1v2, obviously things change. And you see Rhapsody right away going to start to attempt to box her around for the most part. Sure, Succubus with that heartache can definitely hold her ground and counter-harass quite a bit, but it is going to be a lot more difficult than, naturally speaking, that 1v1. But look at this mix-up already coming here from Rexar. As you put it seems like Reason Gaming set up their lanes pretty well, and Rexar sees that as well, and they're going to shift. They sent Empath middle, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very awkward lane. Obviously, Succubus Empath at the same time. So is Rhapsody Moon Queen. So, yeah, it doesn't matter that Legion don't have strong lanes because neither do Hellborn in the middle lane either. And at the same time, I think the most important thing actually is Cthulhu chasing down this Tempest, because Cthulhu honestly is one of the best harassing junglers, maybe even better than Parasite as well, because he can really shut down the enemy jungler. And that's what he's doing right now. So trying to focus down Pew here on the Tempest, trying to sort of minimise his effectiveness in the game. And at the same time, he can sort of shut down Tempest while still having an active time as a jungler. We saw in the last series where we saw, I think, Icelane Gogo ganking level 2, level 3, and Cthulhu can do that. Whereas Tempest, she needs, or he needs, like level 6 before he can really effectively gank. Yeah, he obviously can gank with the Glacial Blast, but compared to like a Trample from Cthulhu, it's just not the same.
Yeah. See right there, Rexars and Reason Gaming apparently have been matched up 6 times in total. They've split the series 3 games apiece. Yes, roster changes have happened a little bit on either side, but still, for the most part, the team names and the majority of the team have been in that matchup, and thus the results are worth noting right there. But yeah, this middle matchup, it's going to be intriguing to see how this one really shapes up. Is Moon Queen going to be able to get that farm that she needs? I'm sure we're going to see the adjustment eventually of her going to that short lane, of course, but for the time being, going to still sit in the middle lane. But yeah, Swift played up top here. He's 7-0 currently against a 14-2 Pro Busk Bubbles, though. Pro Busk doing a fantastic job, to say the least. up there at that top side. And then you got bottom Kraken versus Pharaoh. Kraken 11-4, Pharaoh 6-2. So Kraken having the much better time in the meantime at the bottom lane in Rexar's favor right here. So that's lane's definitely going back and forth right here between these two teams. And then obviously the middle, the 5-2 Succubus versus a 7-1 Moon Queen. A lot of trying to get some creep kills, but struggling against one another. Tactic here. So Cthulhu though, as you stated, and we saw the previous match, need him to be aggressive. That's where he can really shine. He's going to try to do that right here. But, okay, there's a sleep. Yep, it's going to set up a stun ideally. In comes a Moonbeam, though, and a Cthulhu delaying him a little bit. So the sleep not the best, and actually Cthulhu he was really hoping his charge somehow win an extra 500 units or something. Because that wasn't even close.
It actually does, though. It obviously does knock the non-hero units in front of him and can, get off the stun for 1.75. It obviously just doesn't have the same damage as if he was trampling with it. But, it can be enough. Actually, bottom lane.
Chase from Pharaoh going on a Kraken right here. He's going to try to go for the bloodless kill, but no, Kraken, especially with the creep wave now here, should be fine. Yeah, he knows it. He's going to eat some trees. And
I think he could have manned up there, actually. He had the Tormented Soul as well, but in the end just decided to back off. Top lane, Swiftblade might be in trouble.
You see Tempest coming in with the collapse, going to get the stun off initially. Yes, he can't. Bubbles with the fall. It's not going to see. So the Science lasting a little bit. Swiftblade gets the spin off. One more out of attack. No, the health potion use. Probably the difference maker. No, just not enough mitigation. And down it goes. Big Arlong playing the Swiftblade right there. Probus getting credit for the bloodlust kill. So the roaming Tempest, or the jungle Tempest more so, ends up setting up the bloodless kill there at the top lane. So that's a big kill to start things off. Succubus down the middle lane. I think he should be fine, yeah. There is an Invis Rhapsody, but now especially with Empath coming back, probably is going to be fine. But yeah, big start there for the Hellborn side as far as that's concerned. And Swiftblade actually ports middle now, so what are they going to do here?
Unless they're going to send sort of Suicide Succubus, which would make sense, because I think actually laning the Empath Swiftblade would be a stronger dual lane than the Empath Succubus, and at the same time, Succubus is a stronger 1v1 laner than the Swiftblade, so he's going to sort of send him up top. The only problem, though, is that Bubbles is having an absolutely fantastic time. Probus 460 GPM, he's having a wonderful time. Like 33 stat kills, or 33 creep kills, and yet he got the Bloodlust as well. So incredible farm he's got, and obviously Succubus only 150, yet they are going to match him up. He's 2 levels behind, and I mean he's going to be very easily ganked as well if Pew does decide to rotate over. So watch out for some even more kills coming out from the top lane as well.
Yeah, so the priority of the Swiftblade here, but again the mind game's coming out. Sure enough, exactly the response for the Hellborn team now, and Bubbles level 6. Succubus does need to be very careful about this with this Roman coming in. He is going to kind of hug the tower a little bit, but Bubbles has that Kelfield. Oh, this is a dead Succubus. Shelf Surf comes out. There's that Kelfield. Moonbeam in. And Succubus going to fall shortly after. Couldn't even get the Heartache off. TP's canceled, whoever that was. Yeah, said he needs to be careful. I mean, he was falling back, but then something triggered on him. He's like, I know, I'll just push up a little bit right here. And, well, that did not work out. So this is not only going to be the hero kill, but this will be an easy tower kill on top of that. As far as the end result. So Reason Gaming going to take quite a huge lead here. Already a 3,000 gold lead as a result of this.
Is because like they actually run the Succubus as the core, because if she was ran as a sort of secondary support, it wouldn't have made that big of a difference. But to have one of your farmers or one of your cores as almost acting like a support with only 130 GPM, like it has no presence in the game. Cthulhu is obviously busy farming, and I think he should be ganking. We saw it in the other game or the other series, the Cthulhu being so active and had such a presence, whereas in this game is a little bit more focused on farming. And at the same time, obviously, they need something to sort of get Succubus back into the game, because at the moment they're sort of running a 3 support lineup here with the Cthulhu, Succubus, and Empath, and obviously it's not going to work out very well in the long term.
Bottom lane, Pharaoh's going to try to live right here. Wrath the Pharaoh coming out, maybe buying in the distance, and it does. The Hellfire Stud's also helping. Tempest ports in, but he's not going to look to follow it up as they were just simply too far away. But hell of a job surviving there by Zane. And again, Zane, one of these suicide players that, I mean, by now we definitely know his name and everything, but he was always going to, compared to the top dogs that were around, he's never maybe on the top tier list, but deserves it, honestly. I mean, he's a very, very good suicide player. And did a great job of living right there with his feral skills. So, good job. Kraken, though, in the meantime, 300 gold per minute. Is continuing to do solid here as far as the start, but it does drop off quite a bit. If you look at Probusk on that Bubbles, nearly 400 gold per minute. Is level 7 as well, and now getting or just pushing out the middle lane. But yeah, look at the top lane. Moon Queen, Sleep comes out, trying to buy some time for his teammates. The hero blocking now on top of that. Swiftblade running in. He has full slashes, but there's a creep wave here now. And Moon Queen will buy the distance to be fine. So they've tried now several times to use that Mesmerize for kills. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. That's unfortunate because that's obviously a big part of the hero. And why you'd want to go Succubus. So not able to execute the best on there. And right now, Reason Gaming has a lot of things just totally going in their way here. I think getting Succubus level 6, though, is a top priority, I would assume.
Yeah, because once she gets level 6, you can actually start ganking, and at the moment, there needs to be some kind of rotation for Legion. They're so static on the lanes. You obviously had Kraken just sort of sitting bottom, Philippines just AFKing in the jungle, and there's no way, you know, Swiftblade can really start ganking because he's in the middle lane, and obviously he's a hard carry hero, and I think Succubus is the key sort of playmaker here for Rex, and they need some kind of, you know, plays to be made, because I think Hellborn do have the late game potential, obviously, with the Tempest, with the Moon Queen, and at the moment, I mean, Hellborn are actually ahead in terms of golden experience, so you know, Legion do need to do something, and they need to do it quick if they are to sort of salvage this game on here.
Yeah. Swiftblade falling back before too much happens, but in the middle and in the meantime, Succubus does go down. Mummy walls are up, catching Empath. The Empath also falls, and Imbapoy ends up with a double tap right there. Moon Finale assisting with that, but the team, once again, they get the kills, and now they're grouped up to push. Reason Gaming really is playing on the ball here against Rexstars, and that is bad news for them because, again, Reason Gaming has definitely shown they can compete against BMG and Sync in the past. If they are on their A game, like they are here, it seems like, then they can compete against the best of the best even. So Rexstars definitely has a uphill to climb here. As far as recovering here in game number 1, 9.5 minutes in, already a 6,000 gold lead, 2,700 experience. You have 1,500 gold now saved up on Moon Queen. So again, her kind of struggles earlier on, not in so much struggles anymore. She's now has 330 gold per minute. Top lane again. Swiftblade going to be locked down. The lockdown just way too much to handle. And he will fall as well. So the movement, the execution, it's all just coming together for Reason Gaming right now. So I don't know what Rexstars can do, frankly, as far as against that. But
because, I mean, the only way they can really get back in this game is if they obviously start, you know, getting these pickoffs, but they don't have the levels, nor do they have the gold to really, you know, make those kills happen. Succubus is level 6, so I mean, if there is going to be a time where, you know, comebacks can happen, it's with the Succubus trying to get a kill, particularly maybe on this Bubbles, because once Bubbles gets his portal key, I mean, expect the action to keep going here for Reason. They need to maybe shut down this Bubbles, and even maybe the Pharaoh as well, because they're the playmakers for Reason at the moment. They're the ones that are making space for this Moon Queen and the Tempest to continue their farm. And obviously, with more space, the farm is going to get even more considerable. Yeah. And they need something to be happening, because Swiftblade can't really make the plays happen. Kraken doesn't have a portal key, and without portal key it's going to be hard for him to make plays because he's more of a team fighter than a ganker unless he has that portal key. And Cthulhu's sort of just still busy farming the jungle. I mean, he hasn't really had any impact in this game at all. We're only 200 GPM and he's 0-0 and 0. Honestly, do not like this decision. I mean, if you're going to run the Cthulhu, at least make sure he's active, and if not, just put him in the suicide lane, because you need to be active, because otherwise you might as well have a secondary support that's, you know, having a lot more impact in this game.
Yeah, you know, we did hop in as it already had begun as far as the draft was concerned. So I think that just might have been one of those they might have first picked Cthulhu, and then, you know, it could have been a case of, well, as the lineup was developing, they realized, well, we might need to run this jungle, and maybe they're not as comfortable doing that, but they went with it anyways, you know, just to fit in the lineup, had to go somewhere. And yeah, but being 0-0-0, exactly, you know, really not acceptable as far as him needing to be impactful with this team because of just the kind of jungler that he is. There's a lot of downtime, unlike, say, a Tempest or an Ophelia, possibly, that could just continue to farm in the jungle and really start to excel with it. Now, Kraken is going to try to find an opportunity right here. Torrent on a Rhapsody. Release Kraken does kind of catch up on the outskirts. They do get the quick kill, but at what cost here? Bubbles coming in with a response. In comes Cthulhu, completely misses the trample. The Mommy Wall catches 2 heroes in the background. The Tempest ultimate going to pull them in as well. And down goes one in Succubus right there. Swiftblade was spinning, but not for long. He gets the Swift Slashes off, but that delays a little bit. Finally will fall. Now, down goes Pharaoh, actually, as Kraken is able to finish him off with the splash attack. However, no, the fear from Cthulhu kind of kicking in right there and helping to keep Kraken alive in the long run. But Bubbles picks up a regen, and it's still going off. He needed to attack him, man, and maybe take it off, but he doesn't do that. Now he has full mana, and I'm sure a Shell Surf is going to be used. Oh, never mind. He tried to go for Kraken, but he just misses. or out of range. Look at Succubus, though. Okay, comes in with the Mesmerize. He does have his ultimate, but he wouldn't have the follow-up here. So, yeah, not worth it as far as that's concerned. But Rexar's going really deep right there for some kills. And clearly didn't work out. So, I mean, I think they are in that case of they needed to take some risks, sure, but, you know, that wasn't the most horrible end result, I guess, but, yeah, it still was pretty bad, especially with where you're at.
Yeah, it's because they don't even have, like, they don't even have level 6 on empath, so, I mean, they just don't have, A, the farm, but nor do they have the levels to really sort of contest against this Hellborn side. Bubbles is having, like, the game of his life right now, level 10, 400 GPM, already picked up the Portal Keeper for 15 minutes. And looking towards other items as well. The Courier is actually bringing in a major titan, so most likely going to be picking up the push book as well, to sort of save against sort of any Kraken ultimates, and I mean it's looking worse and worse for Legion. Legion is probably the team that should be leading because obviously they're going against more of a late game oriented team, sort of passive team as well in terms of the Moon Queen and Tempest. Yet they are behind, so things need to be done, and games can happen. For example, top. I'd like to see maybe this Kraken and Succubus get together because they need some kills on the board right now.
Yeah. See Bubbles level 10. He's got the portal key. He's working on that tablet. This could be a chance. Now, granted, a Ward decided to spot all this. So yeah, Bubbles definitely picking up on that information is not going to risk sticking around. We'll easy fall back before too much happens right there. So, gank attempt again. It's going to try, but obviously not coming through right there. Then get to the phone. We'll just try to pick up farm in the bottom lane in the meantime. But yeah, everything really just coming together for Reason Gaming. You got that portal key on Tempest now with the Ring of Sorcery. Moon Queen, that Whispering Elm, another 1,900 gold already saved up. So she is really starting to excel here. Yeah, that window of time is closing very, very quickly indeed for the Legion side. The last thing you want to do is get baited out by an illusion. Hopefully for Succubus' sake that doesn't happen. Okay, yeah, so just runs on right by it, expecting that to be the case. And in fact just runs right by the other one as well. So not really too worried about that. They are just going to group up here at the bottom lane. And it looks like they may just go for a group push here at the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, there is a rotation actually coming out from Succubus, Swiffer, and Empath actually. I mean, this tower is most likely going to fall, but shouldn't be anything other than a tower kill in the tier 1.
Huh.
I actually wonder, what's the creep efficiency here, or the creep kills efficiency, Quincy? Because from what I've been seeing, I mean, like, particularly Probust, like, he doesn't even miss any CS. He's actually, he's not actually the highest CS compared to say Tempest, but in terms of the laning phase, he hasn't missed almost any CS, and as a result, he's got 440 GPM. And it does make a difference because if you're not getting, they have got quite a few kills, but only 8 in terms of 15 minutes. And obviously, if you're not getting a lot of kills, you have to make sure you're getting those creep kills. And compare it to the Legion side, their creep kill average is a lot higher than Legion. Okay, so not too bad. What's the average creep efficiency for around 15 minutes, if you know, Vincent? Because now I can get like some kind of a gauge. But just from what I can tell, though, like Region are really focusing actually on like perfect CS, and it's paying off. Like if you look at from what they were, I mean, they haven't sort of taken any team fights, or even the last couple of kills in the last couple of minutes, and they've increased their gold lead about 2,000, and so they've been farming a lot better. So yeah, they are doing very well then. And this just goes back to Reason really farming quite well. They've got obviously Tempest in their own jungle. Moonqueen just finished off his Angels, and Bubbles is playing very far up here in the top lane, and this is just to really maximise their efficiency. And I have to admit, we haven't seen Reason too much actually recently, but from what I can see, I mean they're playing very well.
Yeah, again, they certainly are. And Probusk, another one of these players that just definitely stands out as far as a go-to player, doing a work for his team. And once again, right here, you see middle lane Cthulhu leading the charge here in the middle. Succubus, actually, he has an Envious Rune. He's going to spot somebody out. Oh, what? No, that synergy. Oops, they did not plan that, and this is going to backfire. Here comes Feral, and the response for the Hellborn team. Tempest ultimate catches everybody, and that is the ultimate response right there from the Hellborn side. Yeah, that's where you're like, okay, let's throw in the towel. It's not going to work. God, that Cthulhu Fawn Fury, man, that's brutal. But anyways, down he goes, Genocide, and GG well played.
GG well played. I mean, Reason are here to play.
Yeah.
And they want to move on as soon as possible.
That is for sure. Wow. I mean, that's again, that's something right there. It's a